Welcome to this batch review here on Level M Diecast, everybody. This is Matchbox Mix number 6 for 2023. Kicking it off here with number 21. This is the 1957 Ford Custom 300. This debuted in black last year, so this is our first recolor for this year in red. Nice, clean, classic car from Matchbox, the best way they know how to do it. Next one up in the batch, this is number 29. This is the Chevy El Camino 1960. This was a new casting last year as well. Did come out in kind of a rose pink kind of color, which looked pretty good. So now we get a pink, now we get a gold or a green kind of color. Rolling through with some more classics. 1953 Buick Skylark convertible. This one in kind of a canary yellow, number 32 of 100. This is a new casting a few years ago, so we've seen a few decos on this guy so far. It does have the nice chrome base. As a matter of fact, all three classic cars have had the chrome base. All right, we do have a generic in the mix. This is the mini cargo truck, number 34 of 100. This does say MBX Airways on the side. And we do have both variations. We do have no cargo and cargo. So we will cover both of those guys and crack them open as well. Brand spanking new casting in this mix. This is number 82 of 100. This is the Renault Twizy, 2022 Renault Twizy. Kind of an interesting model, so kind of interesting to crack it open, take a look at it, and see what it is. But it is a brand spanking new casting for 2023. Newest version for the Subaru Forester, 2019 Subaru Forester. This is number 88 of 100. This one in just black, but it does have a little bit of a color flare to it up in the light, but we'll take a look at that when we get them on the rotator guide for sure. Here's a pretty good one. This is our first recolor of the Toyota 4Runner, of course in that ridiculous blue with some black wheels. This is number 92 100, looking fantastic. So this is the first model for 2023 for this 4Runner. The previous one in red was of course the end of 2022. Same color blue that Hot Wheels used on their Taco last year. And then we do have a 70th anniversary model in the mix. This is the 94 Lexus LS400. We are finally getting a new deco on this model. It's been out for a little bit, and this is the first time we've seen something other than its debut deco. Number 93 of 100. So very, very happy to get another 70th anniversary model, but we are not quite done. If you are lucky enough to pull this batch from Target, you will pull a red edition more than likely. This is the third one of the year, 3 of 6. This is the 29 Ford Mustang Coupe. That is the next red edition. Looks pretty good. Of course, still sporting the same kind of card art that the rest of them did. So let's get our rotator guy out and take a look. All right, ladies and gentlemen, kicking this off, we're going to start with our Ford Custom 300 in red. Like I said, this one debuted in black last year, but now we have one in red. I think it looks really good in red. It's very, very simple prints on this. You see there's no taillight prints. There's a little bit of silver print along the side. Looks pretty good. And then, of course, a little bit of print on the front for the headlights. It does say Ford in there as well. Black interior. Very, very nice print just on the medium or the center of the disc hub wheels. I really like that look. I think that's one of the best uses of that particular wheel. Of course, it has chrome base on it as well, so that's a good touch to it. Glad that they're throwing in the chrome where they can. There is the base deets. Very difficult to see that one. S10 is the day code for this mix. All right, moving on to our 1960 Chevy El Camino. This one in it's kind of dull and metallic green at the same time. It's kind of an interesting color, but I think it looks really good. Looks really good. Maybe not exactly, appropriate for the times, but I still think it looks pretty good. Of course, chrome base on this one. Silver prints on the side, just like the Custom had. Just nice little prints on there with some strafing on the side. Of course, the door handles and stuff like that done up. Looks pretty good. And then this one does get some full rear prints on it, which I think really, really helps this model a lot since the front end is mostly chrome. Don't really need any print on the front of that. So that one is a pretty good one. Pretty good one. There is your base deets on this one. 1284 was the man number. 60 El Camino. All right, going back a few years, we're going to go 1953 Buick Skylark, which would actually be a lot bigger than the El Camino in real life. But For the sake of the blister, it is actually a little bit smaller than the El Camino. But this one looks pretty good. Of course, chrome base as well. Kind of an interesting yellow. It's kind of bright. It's kind of bright. I expect it to be a little bit duller. I think would be more appropriate for the era. But it looks good. Of course, prints on the front. Got your headlights done up. The grille is all part of the base, so it's all chrome. Chrome disc hub wheels on there. Looks pretty good. And then no prints on the back, but a little bit of strafing on the side, a little bit of pinstriping and whatnot to cover the, you know, what would be chrome striping on the side on the real one. So that one looks pretty good. A little bit of a skinny size model. There is the base deets on that one. 1241 is the man number. All right, moving on to the only generic in the mix. Of course, this is the Matchbox Airways cargo truck, which is actually a pretty decent, you know, generic, but it's pretty good. This one is really, really nice. It's basically Zamic, but it's clear coated, so it's not true Zamic. And then it's just painted up. Of course, it says A58 on the side. You already know what that means. So, good old Michael Geralda doing all of his good work on all these decos still. This one's kind of interesting. They get a little bit of extra print on the front, which is rather interesting. And of course, you do have the interior variation, which is super easy to find and super easy to spot in the blister. Of course, it's a generic, so of course it's easy to find. But this is a good model. You guys shouldn't be sleeping on this one too much. There is the base deets. 1249 is the man number. So I won't spend too much time on that one, but it's still a good one. All right, brand spanking new casting. You know, when they showed this last year at the gathering, I was really disappointed. I actually was hoping that it would end up moving its way into the opening parts line, and maybe there'd be something fancy with it, and not in the basic range. But it stayed in the basic range as they, you know, stated. But it's okay. It's okay. It's true to Matchbox. You know, Matchbox does the weird oddball stuff. They don't follow mainstream trends. You can see that by the lack of JDM cars in Matchbox. And that's kind of like why we like them, I think. But this one looks pretty good. It does have full front and rear tampos on it. Pretty simple. The blue looks pretty good. It's a single seater. It's just meant to, you know, have one person sit in there and drive around and do all that stuff like that. But I think it looks okay. Taking a look at the base deets. There's the base deets. This man number is 1361 for brand spanking new casting. Of course, made in Thailand, like they all are. That one's all right. It's all right. All right, moving on to an existing casting. This is the Subaru Forester. We have seen this in blue. I'm sorry, we've seen this in green and red thus far. Now we're seeing it in black. It's kind of an interesting color. The black has a little bit of like blue and green speckles to it. I'll get it up to the camera here in a second so you guys can see. But it has full front and rear tampos. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Regular, stock, everyday, you know, Forester. And I think that, you know, Matchbox making this was a good move. You know, Subarus are pretty popular, but not really in the collecting realm unless you have a WRX, which then it's super, super popular in the collecting realm. But again, you know, Matchbox does what they want, which I think is perfectly fine. See, there is kind of like blue and green speckles in the paint. It looks really, really good. I mean, from far away, it's black, but when you get some nice lighting up there, it actually looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. There is the base deets on this guy, just for comparison purposes. Looks pretty good on the base. Pretty good details and stuff on there. All right, Toyota 4Runner. This casting is very small. It's very, very small. As a matter of fact, this casting would fit inside of Hot Wheels 4Runner casting, because that's how small it is. But it is still a good casting. I think they still did a great job on it. Completely bone stock. You know, Hot Wheels did a completely bone stock one too. But Hot Wheels was built for premium, and this one's been built for your everyday, average, you know, mainstream, mainline cars. But has full front and rear tampos on it. Looks good. 6-spoke utility wheel looks pretty good. The blue is amazing. The blue is a fantastic color. It's just really, really good. It's the same blue that Hot Wheels used on their Taco last year for the first color, the one that just went absolutely crazy. And I'm sure that when this case happens to hit the open market a little bit more, this one will be pretty hot as well. So 18 4Runner. S10 looks pretty good. All right, another Toyota product, although not a Toyota itself. This is the Lexus LS400. Like I mentioned, we have not seen a new deco on this one until now, even though it's been out for over a year, well over a year. And this casting was delayed originally for quite some time as well. So just happy it's here. It does have the small 6-spokes on it, which looks pretty good. Of course, donning the 70th anniversary deco, so it is silver with some orange, kind of tampos up in there. The orange around the wheels for the, kind of the ring around there looks pretty good. Full front and rear tampos as well as side prints. Looks pretty good because it is 70th anniversary. They get a little bit of extra print in there. This one's pretty nice, though. This one's pretty nice. I think if somebody wanted to customize this, you could probably scrub the orange and the 70th anniversary off the sides and have a pretty decent silver one. There is the base deets all the way back from 2020. Just now getting our first recolor ever on that casting, which is kind of a bummer. All right, now if you are lucky enough to pull this case from Target, because you will not find this if you don't pull it from Target, this is the third red edition of 2023. This is the Ford Mustang. This one is not very good. I will just be frank with everybody. There's no front or rear tampos on it at all. Very simple red striping on the side. Does say 427 supercharged. And then just a giant white stripe down the middle. However, I am happy to report that obviously it does have an interior. The last time we saw this in the Mainline, it did not have an interior. So we will chalk that one up to a win. Kind of an interesting look with the 3-spoke wheels on there. They also used the 3-spoke wheels on this one when it was no interior version. But it's not too bad. I like the red ring on the outside of it. It looks pretty good. There is the details right there for your Ford Mustang. So looking pretty good. So I think what we'll do to roll out with this batch review, we'll do a little bit of then and now, because I think that works a little bit too well for this case. So then and now, Ford love for you, for all the Ford guys out there. So appreciate you guys. Let me know what you think about that batch. Let me know what you're going to pick up, what you're looking for. I think that's a pretty decent sized batch with a very, very good variety of cars in it, for sure. So we'll catch you next time on the next batch. Level M. Peace.